It's 8 p.m. in Banjul. This is GRTS News. First, the headlines. President Adam Barrow launches the National Development Blueprint, a 4-year socio-economic and political development plan. The special UN envoy on youth call on the Vice President to discuss the agenda on Gambian youths. Zimbabwe's authorities lower bank fees to accelerate financial inclusion. And the African Union and its partners negotiate peace agreement to end South Sudan's violent crisis. These and many more are coming ahead in this hour. I am Isa Chalo. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Adam Barrow, on behalf of the government and people of the Gambia, has congratulated the Catholic community in the Gambia on the ordination of the first Gambian bishop, His Lordship Gabriel Mendy. President Barrow praised that the ordination of Bishop Mendy further strengthened relations among Gambians of all denominations and religions. He urged the bishop to continue to promote peaceful coexistence among Gambians. The ordination of Bishop Mendy is a solemn occasion for all Gambians, the first time a citizen among the Catholic community is elevated to that position. The President was represented at the ceremony by a delegation of cabinet ministers and his advisor on religious affairs, Dembo Bojang. The President took the opportunity to wish Bishop a success in his new task. Meanwhile, the President Adam Barrow on Tuesday presided over the official launching of the government's development blueprint at a ceremony attended by cabinet ministers, ambassadors and development partners. As Mohamed Jallo reports, the 4-year development plan is the government's roadmap for a comprehensive socio-economic and political transformation of the country.
This launching ceremony is the culmination of a year-long process that has seen experts from the government, private sector and development partners team up to formulate the National Development Plan that will, in the next 4 years, serve as government's roadmap in its efforts to transform the Gambia.
The goal of the National Development Plan is to deliver good governance and accountability, social cohesion and national reconciliation. It aims to revitalize and transform the economy for the well-being of all Gambians. This goal is anchored on the national vision that aims to transform the Gambia into a country where all citizens enjoy the benefits of the highest standards of governance, are equal before the law, and freedom of expression is fully guaranteed.
According to President Barrow, his government has already set up a funding mechanism to implement the plan, but its success, he argued, will depend on Gambians.
Given our current economic challenges, government will embark on vigorous sensitization campaign of all stakeholders to mobilize the required resources. The objective of these sensitization campaigns is to popularize the National Development Plan by enhancing the knowledge and understanding of the stakeholders around the issues.
Its launching is seen as a major breakthrough, not least for the government, which is eager to kickstart its much anticipated socio-economic and political recovery plan after a difficult year of transition.
This National Development Plan is the architectural program of this government to chart a way for bringing up this country out of the very dire situation that we had found ourselves at the beginning of 2017.
The successful implementation of the plan will also depend to a large extent on the support of development partners such as the United Nations and the European Union. The UN is credited for supporting the formulation process, whilst the EU has provided critical financial support to enable government to avoid bankruptcy and economic collapse. Now the focus is on how to build on this, and both the UN and the EU see the National Development Plan as a launchpad to the future.
It is a plan that charts the way to a better future, a future where the highest standard of governance, accountability, and transparency are upheld, where social cohesion and peace prevail, where all citizens can enjoy a decent standard of living and live their life in dignity and without fear.
The European Union and the Gambian government will work together on improving energy demand management, energy efficiency, renewable energy generation, and clean technology development. At present, the EU with its partners are formulating a project worth over 85 million euro to improve electricity services in the Gambia by increasing the generation capacity through on-grid utility-scale photovoltaic, increasing transmission capacity by reinforcing and expanding the national grid, providing off-grid solar photovoltaic systems for all schools and health centers, especially in remote areas.
There is a growing belief in many quarters that the Gambia has what it takes to attain the goals as outlined in the plan. All that is required, according to government officials, are concerted efforts by all stakeholders to achieve the goals of delivering good governance, accountability, and a revitalized and transformed economy. Mamadou Jallow, GRTS News.
The UN Special Envoy on Youth on Tuesday called on the Vice President and Minister for Women's Affairs, Fatoumata Jallow Tambajang, at State House. The visiting UN envoy is in the country to engage the leadership of the country and advocate to move the agenda of young people forward. As a look at the reports on the engagement of the Special Envoy.
I don't think I particularly have a clear message for the Gambian young people. I think I have so much to take from them in terms of lessons that they went through over the past few years. And I'm very keen to listen to their stories and give those voices a global platform and to take those voices back to New York, back to the world, and let the world know the potential of the young people of Gambia.
That's the message she brought for young people on our first visit to the Gambia. Arriving amid a rousing welcome by young people and the UN systems in the Gambia, Madam Jayadna proceeded to the Banjul Ferry Terminal, where she was received by the UN Sport Minister. A welcome reception will conclude her engagements the following day, after attending the Wasu Gambia Kafo International FGMC Forum and a graduation held for youth at the Chairman Agriculture Center in the North Bank region. Madam Jayadna is one of the youngest members of the UN and the second official appointed as Special Youth Envoy in July 2017.
One of my main core mandates is to bring the United Nations closer to young people and bring the young people closer to the United Nations. A big part of this includes visiting young people where they are, listening to them, their concerns, bringing those issues back to the United Nations, back to the core of the intergovernmental negotiations we have in New York, and also to the other side to let the young people know what we are doing at the United Nations and to also give them information that they can use to hold their governments accountable, especially with regards to the youth policies, the different international instruments we have on youth.
The 27-year-old Sri Lankan has her target set on raising the voices of young people to draw global action for youth to realize their fullest potential. Her message to the young people was well received by the presidency, following a visit to the vice president, who herself is an ardent advocate for youth development.
We welcome her and we have special congratulations for her because she's a woman. She must have worked twice harder to be at this position. We congratulate her and we send the same congratulations to His Excellency the UN Secretary General for selecting her.
Thank you very much for your time, your leadership in fighting for the rights of girls and young women in Gambia, setting an example to the rest of the world by inspiring thousands of girls and young women to take leadership and stand up for their rights. I've experienced your beautiful country, your culture, and the exemplary leadership of young people in the country, and I continue to tell that we as the United Nations is here to support you, and we really look forward to working together with you.
For young people, Jayadna's visit is apt in the shaping of a new dispensation, promising greater opportunities for youth engagement and employment.
Please continue the support that you are rendering to the empowerment and development of youth across the world. Please convey the message of the young people of this country that UN should increase their support to the entire UN fraternity in the Gambia so that they will be able to meaningfully impact on the lives of the young people of the Gambia.
after her meeting with the presidency, the UN envoy headed to the National Assembly, where she had an interactive session with lawmakers, chaired by Speaker Denton. Expectations are that her coming will pave a way for new legislations to support youth employment and education in order to reap the most from the Gambia's single largest demographic. For now, young people want more avenues to participate in national development to satisfy their needs and aspirations. For GRTS News, I am Aissatou Keita.
The former Minister of Transport, Works, Construction and Infrastructure, Bala Gaba-Jahumpa, has said that he was not involved in the negotiation of a $35 million loan secured from Taiwan in 1995 under the former government. Mr. Jahumpa was speaking before the Commission of Inquiry in connection to the said loan and its disbursement to the Gambia. Ibrahim Jallo has the rest of the story.
Bala Gaba-Jahumpa has said that Ali Conte, a Gambian based in Congo, was the architect of the acquisition of a $35 million loan secured by the then Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council, led by the former chairman Yahya Jammeh. He explained that the negotiation was done in his absence, but then he was embedded in a delegation to Taiwan, including former Captain Ibu Jallo and Mr. Conte, where he signed the agreement on behalf of the Gambia as the then finance minister.
It was Mr. Aliu Conte and Mr. Ibu Jallo who has been shuttling between Banjul and Taiwan for two things, and that they were arranging for two things. One was the establishment of diplomatic relations with Taiwan, and two, they were arranging for the council for a loan, and they have been able to arrange for a loan of $35 million for the Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council, because according to the chairman, they had a 2-year transitional program, one on constitutional review and the other on infrastructural development.
The man finally called Action Man further informed the Commission that even loan agreement papers were in control of the Council, that he was not reliably informed of the disbursement of the funds. Jahumpa, who led various positions in the former government, said he had also followed up the issue of $3 million allegedly stolen by Captain Ibu Jallo, but there was no positive outcome.
There was this allegation that Ibu Jallo had stolen $3 million.
Yes.
You were Minister of Finance at the time?
Yes, at the time I was the Minister of Finance. I had the chance. I went to see the chairman. He said, well, I understand you wanted to see me. I said, yes, sir. I wanted to see you. We got news that allegedly Ibu Jallo absconded with $3 million. Is this from the Taiwanese phone, or said, look, excuse me, Honorable Chairman, Action Man, the council is investigating. And once the council investigates, we will inform the cabinet. But Honorable Lead Council, that never happened.
Dominic Gomez, Chief Financial Officer at the Zenith Bank, also provided records of transactions of various accounts in respect to Jammeh Foundation for Peace, Maligam International and Westwood. Dudu Lamijani, former Gambian ambassador to the U.S., also faced the commission in connection to funds transferred from the Central Bank of the Gambia to the embassy in Washington for the purchase of limousines for the ex-president and embassy resident, among other issues.
Going through the financial attaché and leaving you out, that's probably, ignoring the foreign service regulations rather than a normal way of doing things.
We have seen funds later, we have seen funds that have been transferred to the embassy's account, even unbeknown to the ambassador.
The session ended with Mustafa Koli, Deputy Managing Director of National Food Security Processing and Marketing Corporation, appearing before members to shed light on the mismanagement of the Gambia food and feed industry, of which he was a board chair. Ibrahim Jallo, GRTS News.
The organizing committee of the West African College of Surgeons on Monday briefed the press on its upcoming conference scheduled from the 25th February to the 2nd March 2019. Unajai reports.
Part of the preparatory process for the upcoming West African College of Surgeons Conference, slated to take place this month in the Gambia. The annual event aims to promote education, training and academic research to enhance medical surgery in Africa.
We use these type of opportunities to bring together the manufacturers. Those are the people who manufacture either drugs that we use and the scientific equipment and the consumables to the users. This opportunity will help us to have access to these advanced scientific technology and equipments that are up to date.
The conference will convene in Banjul with more than 1,000 surgeons expected to converge at the event, which is expected to attract surgeons from other international colleges in other parts of the continent.
They want to share with all the surgeons that have come in, and they put up what we call scientific papers, which they will come and discuss new things that have happened, new things that can happen. Basically, for the scientific sessions, this is the aim and objective.
Series of activities are expected to define the conference. Among them, a major surgical outreach program to be held from the 19th to the 23rd of February in different hospitals across the Greater Banjul area, where surgeons will perform surgeries in different categories for free.
We will be having outreach surgery. This is about 40 volunteers, surgeons and nurses will be coming to the Gambia to perform surgeries free of charge. These are cases which normally would have been evacuated, but for cost reasons, the relatives cannot do so.
So there are a wide range of operations that can be done by this group of people. But like you said, it's a short period, so we want to maximize that time. So that's why we are trying to get people, if you know that you have an ailment or you know somebody who has an ailment like that and has been trying to seek for funds to do surgeries outside, overseas, this is an opportunity.
The conference will pave the way for frank discussions on challenges in medical surgery and ways to mitigate emergent problems.
I can tell you now that there is an interaction going on between the selected groups and the surgeons in the UK, US, those coming. Now the patients we are recruiting already, doctors are on the ground looking at them, checking their blood, checking what they have to do, and I can tell you there is some form of interaction going with the other surgeons that I've been suggesting, like do CT scan for this one, this, now let's prepare. Because some of the cases that we have, they are very serious.
The conference will also showcase an exhibition. The theme for the 58th Annual Conference and Scientific Meeting 2018 is Global Surgery Implementation for West Africa. Training and development of expertise is key in developing the health sector. Therefore, this conference will contribute immensely to that. Uminjai, GRTS.
The Canadian Embassy in Dakar, in collaboration with the Institute for Human Rights and Development in Africa, on Monday rolled out a 3-day training on human rights program for officials of the Immigration Department. The forum seeks to enhance the understanding of participants on issues of human rights and the rule of law. Kadiyatu Jallo reports.
Institute for Human Rights and Development in Africa continues to provide training for different security personnel in the country. This group of immigration and border security personnel is the latest to join the program, seeking to insert greater competence in the Immigration Department. At the national front line, defining the first and last impressions about the Gambia, the training is central to building capacity and enhancing the skills of immigration officials as the country enters a critical period of transitional justice. Gay Sow is Executive Director at the Institute for Human Rights and Development in Africa.
The way you treat a non-national or even a Gambian residing outside of the country could completely change their perception about this country. In this training program, we seek to enable you better understand the relevance of the respect of human rights in the success of your duties as immigration officers. In addition to this training workshop, we shall produce a harmonized version of the Human Rights Manual for Gambia security sector agencies, which will be handed over to the various institutions in this phase of the program, that is, Immigration Department, Prison Services, and the Gambia Drug Law Enforcement Agency.
The Director General of the Immigration Department, Buba Sanyang, hailed the Human Rights Institute for the continued support and called on participants to make best use of the opportunity.
This capacity building project is not the first of its kind, as two of our officers just attended a seminar training 4 months ago. The Office of the Director General thanks the Chief Executive Director of IHRDA, Mr. Gay Shaw, and the team for creating this great initiative and also honoring the recommendation at the end of the past training. And finally, urge all participants to endeavor and take this training seriously, as it will go a long way in helping them execute their duty in the sphere of human rights laws.
Speaking to GRTS, participants said training would greatly equip them to enhance productivity in immigration service.
I'm expecting to learn more on human rights issues, because immigration, as we know, we deal with people every day, and every day we interact with people, especially foreigners. We do sometimes have some issues with them, but so if we are trained, it will help us to know how to treat the aliens and then how to go about with them.
Khadija Tujalo, reporting for GRTS News.
Children Paint, a Gambian paint factory, recently launched its modern painting product at a ceremony held at its headquarters in Kanifing. Amanda Sanyan tells us more.
It is the launching of new brand painting product by Tiny Company, a proudly Gambian business bent on providing affordable and reliable painting products that are of quality to the consumer. Speaking at the occasion, CEO Baduso emphasized on the company's new brand product that are to compete at the international market.
It is a pen factory, as I said, of a difference. The difference being we manufacture locally with total color production of your choice as a customer. Tinning paint is back home. We've all been away for so long, living in abroad. We came back home to do our quota in the sense of, 1, being patriotic, 2, to add value and create employment in the Gambia as the new Gambia.
Director of Enterprise Support at the Gambia Investment and Export Promotion Agency, GIPA, highlighted on the importance of such indigenous businesses that are producing products ready to compete at the international market.
99% of the time, other people will come into country to give us any quality. But if Gambians have taken it upon themselves to come, having studied this abroad, say that we are going home to fill in a specific gap, I think being this paint manufacturing, I think is a laudable initiative that everybody should support.
A mentor to the company CEO, Lars Nigard, attribute Tiny Paint's recent success as one to be determined by the various consumers to use the product.
I wish you all good luck in the future. I am sure you will make it because you have the right product and you are hardworking and you have the right approach to business. So good luck.
Alhaji Babakar Baji, product designer of Tiny Company, Soso of Capital FM, and Ajangone Seka of Queen's Magazine were among the many staff of the company that cited on the importance of their new brand product and hope on the patronage of Gambians. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Aminata Sanyan.
A press release from the Gambia Armed Forces says it has drawn its attention, a publication on social media outlets, about an alleged arrest of another Gambian soldier at the Amdalai border post following his reported return from Equatorial Guinea. The Gambia Armed Forces wished to inform the general public that the alleged soldier, 1 Lance Corporal Babu Idrissa, was an ex-soldier of the Gambia Armed Forces, intake 281 from Mboletba village, who was dismissed from the Gambia Armed Forces on the 10th of September 2014. According to military police investigations, Lance Corporal Babu Idrissa left the Gambia on the 14th of September 2014 to Agadez in Niger in an attempt to reach Europe. Currently, he is a resident in Senegal, where he works for a security company and is in the country to visit his family. In addition, the release further stated, investigations have not in any way revealed his connection with the junglers or the former president. The release concludes. Time now for our first break. When we return, we'll take a look at other news.
Yes, this is Big Fa, Baram Bagasi, Mr. Anything. Right now, I am in Bakau. I use AfriCell 4G because it has the widest coverage and the fastest speed.